let's talk about the role of the set-top box in helping the provider make money. Data collection in targeted advertising. Just recently, the US project Canoe, which was about targeted advertising for the consortium of cable companies in the States, has been shelved. As I understand it, largely foundering on the rock of the incompatibility of Cisco and Motorola cable set-top boxes. What role is the set-top box going to have in targeted advertising in European theatres? Do you know?
It's an interesting point, and again goes to having an open, standardised approach. If you look at the IPTV, Open IPTV forum, which we're members of, are promoting having a standardised platform, which makes it easy not just for advertising or targeted advertising, but other services as well, which are likely to come in the future. So having a more standardised approach is certainly key to introducing and promoting services across different platforms and different set-top box suppliers. So that's really our school of thought, where we like to see an open, standardised approach.
Jason?
We're definitely seeing an interest in this, in targeted advertising, and it creates some interesting issues for us as a silicon provider, because some of the operators we're discussing want to roll this out on their boxes they have in the field, 6-7 years old. So whatever standard used to enable the tailored advertising on a technology level, it has to be compatible with silicon that's 5-6 years old.
So they want to kind of retrofit set-top boxes with a software stack.
Yeah.
That will implement targeted advertising.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds quite tough, is it?
Without getting into too much technical detail, on the fundamentals, how you actually do the insertion of the advertising, it's tricky. I don't think it's too tough. It's splicing MPEG streams together in correct timing and things like that. But yeah, it's not just a problem or an issue for new set-top boxes. You've got a large install base of legacy boxes that people haven't upgraded yet.
And do they have the capacity to, obviously they've got to collect quite a lot of data in terms of profiling the household in terms of what it's watching. That's doable, is it, or even on legacy?
I think so, yeah. You're not talking really in terms of collecting the data and sending it. It's not vast amounts of data. You don't need a supercomputer in your set-top box to do that. It's more just inserting the adverts in a way that doesn't look too clunky for the user, that's really going to turn them off. You want a nice smooth transition, so it's not apparent that they have actually had a targeted advert almost.
Steve, do you see that smooth transition, both in terms of being able to make boxes capable and in terms of the way it will present to the viewer?
Yeah, I think technologically those kinds of problems can be solved. I think the whole question of targeted advertising is going to take a very long while to create any kind of premium revenue stream. It's tricky technologically, but I think the real key thing is the involvement of advertisers in the whole premise, and it hasn't been shown demonstrably yet that there is a premium advertising stream available for these kinds of targeted opportunities, targeted avails. So I think we're going to see a frenzy of activity around that, but perhaps there should also be some consideration paid to other kinds of revenue generation opportunities. And I'm thinking of the transactional kind of offers that can be made. I continue to be amazed when I come to the UK, the red button kind of functions that you see pretty much universally.
Or lack of functions.
Well, it's dramatically more interesting than you see in the US, for instance, in terms of an opportunity to interact and to engage and potentially lead you to some kind of purchase, or at least lead you from one program to another program with some kind of connection to it, which is a very interesting kind of paradigm. So transactional opportunities, related, upsell of your subscriber accounts. We talked a little bit about the impulse purchases and things like that as being very significant to raising the ARPU of subscribers. But then, of course, again, I will sort of go back to the notion that the set-top box isn't just the only device that you're consuming things on. You know, there are opportunities to potentially spread that content to other devices, and maybe one of the upsell opportunities is, you know, do you want to copy this to a DVD or something like that? Other kinds of features and functions that can be supported, which create revenue streams inside the subscriber's domain.